Observability is the ability to effectively monitor, understand, and diagnose the behavior, performance, and state of your service. Three main pillars of observability data are logs, metrics, and traces. In today's lecture, we will see what are the observability solution providers available in market today and how the generic logging configuration or the architecture works. There are many open source observability solution provider or the logging configuration or the agents available in the market like Prometheus, Fluentbit, OpenTelemetry, and also there are some privately owned solutions like Datadog, Amazon CloudWatch, Splunk, etc. There are three main pillars of observability data, which are like logs, metrics, and traces. Logs are basically chronological records of events and activities, which captures information about various actions, errors, and warnings. When we face some issues or like faults with our system, we try to investigate these logs and try to understand what's going on with our service. Next data type is metrics. Metrics are quantitative measurements of systems performance like response times, throughput, error rates, and resource utilization. This actually gives us some sort of idea to visualize how our system is performing and whether we need to take any actions. Last data type is like traces. Traces basically visualize the end-to-end journey of a request, highlighting the bottlenecks and latency issues. Components of an observability solution. We can divide the components of an observability solution into three main parts. The first section is like data collection and instrumentation. Basically, this is the section where we actually generate the logs, or the logs are being created and stored, something like this in our system. Then the next thing comes into picture is our logging agent. These logging agents basically aggregates those like generated logs, process the logs if need or needed, and export them to different destinations. And finally, when the logs arrive to our destination, we have some visualization tooling using which we can see our data in dashboard with different graphs and charts and take necessary actions and set alarm based on this data. The main component in a logging solution is the logging agent. We need to understand the logging agent we are going to use, and most of the logging agents basically have the similar concepts, and they have three different main components which are known as like receiver, processor, and exporter. Let's take a look into this like very generic idea of a logging solution. We have an application container which is running in a customer's machine, and we have some sorts of logger configured which is generating some logs and storing them in var output log / app.log file. Then we have a logging agent application container. It basically has couple of components, like it has an input, it has log processor, and it has like log forwarder. Inputs are basically the receivers. So a receiver which can be push or pull based is how data gets into the logging agent. So the receiver's responsibility is getting the generated logs into the logging agent data pipeline. Then the log processor. Processors are run on data between being received and being exported. So we can configure multiple processors, and these processors actually take actions on the data. Say for example, these actually help us to filter the data. These help to add custom metadata with the log or metrics, these kind of things. And finally, the log forwarder or like log exporter. An exporter which can be again pull or push based is how we send data to one or more backends. In our example, we are sending data to custom storage or like log analytics. Do we need some kind of vendor agnostic solution? Look at our previous data. We have so many solution providers in the market, and not all solutions are great from one provider. That's why we need to sometimes pick up like different things from different providers. And for that reason, we need to configure and manage multiple agents, which is kind of a pain, right? That's why we need some sort of solutions which will take the best from many different things and combine into one, or give us some sort of like a common playground or something where we can play with all the data with configuring one single agent. And that's why OpenTelemetry actually came into market in around 2020. And this OpenTelemetry has a concept, like it has a collector which offers a vendor agnostic implementation of how to receive, process, and export telemetry data from different sources and send to multiple destinations. Let's take a look into the OpenTelemetry architecture. As you can see in the left hand side, we have different log generator, like we have Jaeger, Prometheus server, and other things. This can have their own solution and generate different logs. We have receivers, OpenTelemetry receiver. This receiver can receive data from different sources, and then data goes through OpenTelemetry processors. We can filter them, we can process them, then finally we have OpenTelemetry exporters which can send data to different destinations. Now the next question is like, which solution provider we will be choosing for our services, right? So it basically still depends on many different things, like, do your company have any kind of preferences? What is the cost model? And do you want to stick with your cloud provider like AWS Cloud was, because all of your workload are running on AWS Cloud, something like this. So after considering so many factors, you need to decide actually what solution do you want to choose. Hope you got some idea and it will help to understand how the logging works. Thanks.